Now you may think of Numbers as an application that's on your Mac's hard drive, but there are other versions of Numbers as well. You may be familiar with the iOS versions of Numbers, which are on the iPhone and iPad, and you can use those to open up these same documents. There's also a third version of Numbers, and that's very different than the applications. That's a web app, meaning that it runs inside of a web browser. You can get to the web app of Numbers by going to iCloud.com. So here are our Numbers documents, just a variety of things I've been working on for this course. I've got these saved to iCloud.com in my Numbers folder. So we're going to see those here in a second because I'm going to go and run Safari and then I'm going to go to iCloud.com, and this brings you to the iCloud suite of web apps. So I'm going to log on and I'll see all of the different iCloud apps. There's photos and calendar and contacts and mail and all of that, and there are Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. I can go to Numbers and this lets me run a version of Numbers in the web browser. It's interesting to note that you don't need to be running Safari on a Mac to do this. This will work on other browsers like Chrome and Firefox, and will also work on other operating systems. So you could be using a browser on a Windows computer and access this version of Numbers as well. So somebody who doesn't have a Mac or any Apple device can sign up for a free iCloud account and then go and access these web apps, and then you could potentially give them a Numbers document and they could open it. So here I am in Numbers, and notice that it's going to show me recent Numbers documents, and I'm going to even see some of the ones that I've recently looked at. And I could also browse in iCloud Numbers here, and that's all of those documents. I could go to iCloud Drive here and browse my entire iCloud Drive for any Numbers documents that I have stored there. Let's go back in here and let's open up that sales chart one. And we'll see here it opens up and the interface is going to look a lot like what we're used to. And here's the document. So you could edit everything in here. You could create new documents as well and use them inside of the browser and save them and then open up in the Numbers app on your Mac later on. You've got stuff in the sidebar. You've got toolbars. You've got all sorts of things. You could even collaborate here with somebody. So it's a pretty full-featured version, but not completely full-featured. It doesn't have everything that you've got when you're using the regular version. Notice these are 2D here, so it kind of converted those. The tables look a little bit different, but it is something to note that you do have access to this. So you could be saving your Numbers documents to iCloud and then be somewhere at a completely different location. No Mac or any of your devices around. You can log into iCloud.com and then use this web version of Numbers to access your spreadsheets, create new ones, modify this, save them, do whatever you want. It's a really handy thing to have these web versions, and typically they lag a little bit behind the regular apps in terms of features, but they do catch up. So there are features that you may not see in the web version of the Numbers app that in months or years to come may be added for greater compatibility.